for discussion, because this is something which needs to be discussed often. This is a topic which requires consideration every few months, every few weeks, I would say even every few days. The problem of delays, the problems of piling up of cases is a problem which we are facing each day. Why it is happening is something which requires to be analyzed. Why it is happening is something which we need to identify in order to come to or find out solutions towards lessening this problem. It's no use trying to blame people or blame somebody or the other for what has happened or what is happening today. Without a blame game, one will have to find out ways and means of trying to resolve this problem, which is gradually becoming, I am sorry to say, although Justice Sahay was very optimistic, I would say that this is a problem which seems to be gradually getting out of proportion. Justice delayed. What exactly do you mean by justice? This has been in the introductory speeches by the other speakers. They have dealt with this. Justice would possibly mean to a common man, to a little speakers. They have dealt with this. Justice would possibly mean to a common man, to a litigant, the ultimate final result of the litigation he has instituted, or a complaint which he has made which needs to be resolved. The ultimate result, that would be justice to him or her. It's not justice of an interim nature. It is justice of an interim nature which, in fact, in my view, causes delays. At the same time, one cannot also do without it. There are situations where interim orders are required to be made and passed. Not only in an original proceeding, but at the appellate stage. So if one has to deliver justice to the common citizen, it has to be the final decision that is arrived at in his proceedings. To each individual, his case is the most important. A person may be from the lowest rung of society, economically or otherwise, and a person may be from the highest rungs, makes no difference. To that person, that man, his case is the most important, and he wants a finality. It may go against him, it may be in his favor, but he would like to see that it ends within reasonable time. Let me give you one or two examples from my own experience as to what could be the meaning of justice delayed is justice denied. When I was a practicing advocate, there was a case where there was a dispute over a certain property. One of the parties to the dispute went to the criminal court. Mind you, went to the criminal court and not to the civil court. Filed an application under section 144 CRPC. Obtained an order to prevent anybody else from interfering with his possession there. Whether he had possession or not, it made no difference. He obtained an order. The person in possession, he found that the police suddenly came to him with the order of the court saying you are disturbing his possession. He says, but I am in possession. He says, no, that will not do. You go and get an order from the court also. Very well. So the other person went to the court. Same magistrate, same 144, same order, same magistrate, same property, two different persons saying two different things, same order. Now the police says, he is not to be disturbed, you are also not to be disturbed. Then what happens? Then the other factor came into play. Who had more resources? And the person who had more resources, naturally he prevailed, and his work started. He started construction on the site. There was no other alternative. The other party had to come to the High Court. Came in division, came to the High Court. Having regard to the urgency of the matter was heard at a reasonably early date. By that time, already the foundation had been laid. The matter was heard, adjourned. By that time, the first story was raised. Finally, the matter was finally heard. Judgment was delivered after 4 months. By that time, the complete structure had been raised. This would be an example of justice today is justice tonight. A fait accompli had been created from where one could not return. Let us not ask you, let us not ask ourselves, who was to blame? It happened. It happened from the lowest rung up to the highest rung. This is one case. This is just some food for thought. Another personal experience. I was in Jharkhand for a brief spell as Chief Justice. As Chief Justice, I decided to visit all the districts if possible. Jharkhand had 23 districts in those days. I went to the various districts and I happened to be in Delhi on one occasion when there was a conference with regard to various matters of which in fact amendments to the Civil Procedure Code to which extensive reference has been made by Justice Sahai was one of the topics. My wife was with me and she is very interested in visiting children's homes, destitute children's homes, observation homes, remand homes. And while I was at the seminar, she had come to the remand home in Devghat for girls. After the seminar was over, or rather in between when we adjourned for lunch, she came to me and said, would you please find some time to come and visit the remand home or the observation home? I said, fine, we go. So I went there. And when I went there, one girl came up to me. She must have been about 15 years old, 15 or 16. She said, sir, can you help me? I said, why, what has happened? She says, I don't know why I'm here. From where she had come. So her identity was that little strip of paper with a name on it and nothing else. Then we had to try and find out where she was from. Then I put my machinery into action. Finally, we found that 7 years prior to that date, she had been found on the Patna railway station platform. She was a little girl of 7 then, and she was there. And she had been caught by the GRP, railway police, for not having any document. By a document I mean a ticket, either a railway ticket or a platform ticket, to be on the platform. Very well. So she was taken to the railway magistrate. Done in accordance with law. The railway magistrate, in his turn, sentenced her to pay a fine of rupees 300. In default, to suffer 15 days of detention in the Nadi Niketa. This is what we found later on from the records of the railway magistrate. That girl was brought there when she was 7 years old. It was quite impossible for her to pay 300 rupees fine. She was there as anybody who goes to a railway platform, possibly. She was there as a pickpocket also, or as a pickpocket trainee. One never knows. But certainly not as a passenger. She didn't have a platform ticket. Very well. She was brought there, that slip of paper was put in the file, thereafter she was forgotten. She lost 7 years, or let us say 8 years when I was there finally, of her childhood. And when we asked why this has happened, being the Chief Justice, I had the privilege of taking the matter of my own file on my own motion, and I took it up. And I called the Advocate Generals of both the states. By that time, Jharkhand had been created. Devghar was in Jharkhand. Patna was in Bihar. Called the Advocate Generals of both the states. I said, where does this child's family live? Why is it that for 7 years she's here? Nobody had any answer. Naturally, nobody could answer. Once the child is dumped there, the matter ends. The job of the administration is over. We said, no, that will not do. Find out where this child's parents are. She has to be restored to the parents. After about 2 weeks, sorry, Madhav, we were not able to find out anything. I said, you go and find out from the description that she's given as to which village she belongs to. Finally, they did find out. The parents had both died in the meantime. There was one brother who had gone away to Assam. I said, find him. After 1 month, they still couldn't find him. Then I said, that will not do. I said, unless you find him within a week, we shall take steps. Within a week, not only was the brother found, but the child was also restored to the brother. After 8 years, the child not knowing what had happened, she was restored to the brother and she had lost her child in the meantime. Is this justice? Who was responsible? Don't ask. Somebody had to find a solution to this. A small little third example. In Delhi, there are these juvenile justice boards. 2 of them are there. Those who are familiar with the Juvenile Justice Act would know that a minor who is under 18 years old can be punished only in a particular way, even for the most serious of crimes, even matters relating to murder. The maximum punishment is 3 years, and for other cases, normally a case is to be completed within 4 months. Here we find a child, maybe about say 6 or 7 years old, having stolen a banana from somebody's shop, maybe a few biscuits from somebody's shop, a hungry child, a loaf of bread. There the police had to lodge a complaint, an FIR, under section 379. This was about 5, 6 years ago. And after 5 or 6 years, the child was still there for having stolen a banana or a biscuit. Is this justice? Is this justice delayed, justice denied, or whatever you call it? There are children I've seen who have grown up, they have become children, they have children of their own, but they're still attending the Juvenile Justice Court where the cases are still pending. These are just by way of example. I'm saying this is, if you say justice delayed is justice denied, this is just a little sample. There are thousands of people having the same problems. The question is, what do we do about it? It is not that as if people are not sensitive. People are. It is not as if the legislature couldn't care. They do. But then again, whatever we do, whatever they do, whatever we have to implement, it has to be done by us jointly, as very rightly pointed out by all the speakers before me. Section 89 of the Civil Procedure Code was there in the CPC earlier. It was deleted in 1939 or 1934. It was deleted. But because of this kind of burgeoning cases and the delays, it had to be reintroduced, the amendment in 1972 or 73. It had to be reintroduced. What has been brought in by Section 89? A duty has been cast on the civil court at the lowest level to see whether a matter could be settled at the earliest stages. If a settlement could be arrived at, then the matter, the terms of settlement could be framed and the matter could be sent to either the arbitrator or to the mediation center or to the conciliator, so that things could be worked out. And one other very important organization or an institution was also included, and that was the local adalats. Having regard to this growing number of cases and the fact that one adjournment in a particular case could have a cascading effect. One adjournment today means the matter has to be adjusted against another day. When there's another pile of cases, this piles up, having a cascading effect. It all piles up together and it becomes unmanageable. How much can one magistrate or how much can one landed civil judge junior division do in a day? If his docket consists of even 30 matters, where he has to dispose of, say, small little things like substitution applications, amendment petitions, then a little bit more serious things like applications for injunction, receiver, then suits, hearing. How much can he tackle in a day? One has to be also reasonable and think as to what a person's capacity is. And just as you say, justice delayed is justice denied. Don't forget there's the converse also. Justice hurried is justice buried. Now what is important is to be able to strike the middle path, strike a mean, strike a balance, where you can manage your court in such a way, case management, in such a way that you're able to deal with certain matters within a certain time and other matters, devote other matters for other purposes. Alternate dispute resolution mechanisms, formation of tribunals, all these have become part of the system today. What was the functions of the courts, they have been now distributed amongst various tribunals and bodies. Let us hope that something comes out of it. But as far as I understand or know, even the tribunals, they are also clogged with their work. It's not that they are wielding some kind of a magic wand. They are doing the same work. Ultimately, it boils down to the same thing. I'm quite aware that we have gone beyond the time limit. There was so much more to talk about, but then maybe some other day, some other time, we'll have the opportunity.